Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today is Friday, so I am doing Friday reads. I'm going to share what my accomplishment for the past 7 days was. So I finished 3 books, which was amazing, and I will have my past self do my reviews shortly. And then I will come back and share the books that I'm currently stuck in the middle of. So here we go. Here's my past self. Okay, I finished my first book for 2021. I am super excited because it's one of the books that I chose for my one little word, which my word is breathe. So I went through my library to see if they had any books that I could listen to, and I took out an audiobook. And the audiobook that I took out is this one, Breathe Mama Breathe, 5-minute mindfulness for busy moms by Shonda Morales. I think I said her name wrong, but this is the book that I listened to. I started listening to it. I was walking Daisy down the block and I started listening to it, but she got me so engrossed into listening to it. I listened all day yesterday and I finished it this morning. I finished it. So I'm really excited. It took me 2 days to listen to the entire book. And I ordered this book on Amazon. I was waiting for this to come in and it just came in today. The reason I bought the physical book is there was so much that I learned from this book that I wanted to revisit and highlight and note things in it. I started in the beginning. I just got the book, so I just started to highlight things and note things that were speaking to me. And it was like a lot of stuff was speaking to me. Look at all that yellow. So I was highlighting stuff. I'm going to go back to this, and this is my second attempt reading this book. The first attempt was the audiobook. I learned a lot. It actually made me cry at one point. She talks about as they are toddlers, and then she talks about how in a blink of an eye your children will be teenagers, and then she goes into please please breathe when you bring your kids in the car and you have to teach them how to drive. And I am teaching my kids to drive right now, and like I can't believe it was like yesterday that they were infants, and it just brought tears to my eyes when I was listening to her say this. And I'm like, wow, if you blink, they'll be married and everything else. So try not to take too much for granted. And I just love this book. I did start 5 minutes of meditation because of this book. I'm also working on my word breathe. So yeah, so this is a great book to have. Really enjoyed it, and as I said, I bought the physical copy to write in and notes and revisit. So I'm giving this book 5 stars, and I don't normally give books 5 stars, but this one really spoke to me. It made me cry. It made me laugh. And I will be revisiting it. It's a nonfiction self-help book, and it's great for the whole year, which I'm working on the word breathe. Have I told you that I'm a mood reader? I'm definitely a mood reader. So this morning I woke up and I decided that I wanted to read poetry. And I went to my shelf because I have all my books sorted by genre, and I picked out 2 books. Actually, I picked out a few books, but I put them aside and I finished reading 2 of them. So yes, I read cover to cover. I finished the 2 small books, and the second book that I finished was Hummingbird, and this one is by Sophia Elaine Hansen. It's a very short book. It doesn't have that much. It's all poetry. She writes about love. She writes about losing love. She writes about regaining love. I didn't really connect to anything until I got to almost the last page, and she writes about why she wrote this book. So here is I'm going to read it to you because I thought it was really interesting that this pops up, and this is my word for the year. So my word for the year is breathe. So in here she writes on the very last page, and she says, I never planned to release any of these poems. And then she writes down further, it says, they needed to breathe. When my words breathe, I breathe. I am still breathing. You are too. So I thought that was really interesting that that word came up within this book. But I'm giving this book 3 stars because otherwise I did not connect with this book. And yes, so I am going to rewrite the breathe passage that I just read to you in my breathe journal because I thought that was interesting that it did pop up again. And today is only January 7th. So that's cool. Okay, so the next book that I finished is a middle grade poetry book, and this is a reread for me. I didn't realize I read it before, but when I went to do my review on Goodreads, it said I already read it in 2017. So this is a reread. Very interesting book. Love That Dog, it's called, by Sharon Creech. Really enjoyed this the second time around. It's about a little boy who's learning how to write poetry, and he's telling he doesn't want anybody to know that he wrote the story, so he's like, leave my name off of everything. And it was really interesting because it keeps going, and it's like day by day, and he keeps writing, he keeps trying to write poetry, and it doesn't he doesn't have this confidence to write something that anybody's gonna like, but I really enjoyed it. So I can count this as one of my reads for the Children's Books Challenge for 2021. So that's pretty cool. Okay, what I am currently reading is I am still reading Coraline. I am almost finished with this one, but I didn't finish it, so I am on page 99, so I have a little bit more to go, so hopefully I will have a wrap up in the next week's Friday reads. So I plan to watch the movie after I finish the book, so that is the one book. I'm really enjoying it. I asked my kids if they read this, and they said no, but they did see the movie, and my one daughter says, Mom, that one creeped me out. So yeah, she doesn't like creepy movies. So I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm gonna try to find it somewhere. I don't know. I have Hulu, I have Disney channel, and I have Netflix, so I'm gonna hopefully get it. If not, I will try to get it from the library. So that's my goal for next week. The next book that I am stuck in the middle of, I am reading The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This is the Book Troop book of the month for the book club Gabby reads, and I didn't get very far. I'm on page 41. I'm reading it very slowly. As far as the storyline, it's more like a woman who walks dogs, and then she is nosy about all the neighbors. That's as far as I got so far. So that's this one. The next book that I am still in the middle of reading, I'm reading In the Holidays, and this is by Christina Lauren. This one I'm trudging along. I'm about halfway through the book. I'm on page 133, so I'm halfway. Yeah. This one, the days repeat. She goes in a time warp, and she repeats the same day over and over again. I don't know how she's going to get out of it. It's an okay book. It's not really keeping my attention that well, but I want to finish it, so I'm already halfway through the book, so might as well continue reading it. So that's that. So, now, yesterday and this morning, a book popped up And I feel like the universe is telling me to read it. And I have it on my bookshelf. So I actually picked it up this morning and I did read the very first, thing before chapter 1. So, yeah, this is a huge undertaking, a huge book, but it did pop up last night. I saw it somewhere. And then this morning when I was looking at Facebook or something, it popped up again. So I'm like, oh, I have that book on my shelf and I haven't read it. And so I picked it up. It's a huge undertaking. So 11/22/63. I don't know if I will ever get finished through this book, but it is huge. But I did pick it up and I felt like the universe was telling me to read it. So I enjoyed the beginning. I read the back and it seems like a time travel book. I really don't know anything about it, but I think they go to time travel and they try to help JFK. So yeah, it seems interesting. I'm hoping that I like it. This might be a slow read through January and February. I will pick it up and put a timer on and see if I could get through it. It looks like the chapters are very short. So I love when the chapters are short. Let's see. The chapters are broken up into like there's chapter 1 and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like little groups of 5 portions. It's broken up. So it doesn't look like there's like 20 pages in the chapter, so it seems really short. So maybe I could do like a chapter a day or set my timer and try to read at least, this is like the chapter, so it's not that bad. So we could see if I could get through it. So cross my fingers on that one. I don't DNF it, but we'll see. I did start reading it. Okay, so as far as my audiobook goes, I wrote a list up of all the Breathe books that I would like to read, and I have a list of 14 books here. I wrote it in my Breathe journal, my One Little Word journal. So I'm going to look on Hoopla, my library app, and see what other audiobook I can listen to. I really enjoyed the audiobook that I read, Breathe, Mama Breathe. So these were all like that type books, and I'm hoping that I could grab one of these. So I chose my audiobook. I just wanted to let you know. I chose the book called Breathing by Andrew Weil. So yeah, so that's what I'm starting. I'm taking that out from the library and I'll be listening to that for the week. Actually, I'm just started listening to it. So yes, hopefully I will finish it before next Friday. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm proud of myself that I finished 3 books already. I mean, 2 of them were really, really short, but I'm glad that I finished, and my goal was to read more books, and I already finished 3. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye!